Happy Tuesday, North Central Washington. Happy Tuesday, Wenatchee Valley. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the 17th day of July, 2018. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. Once again, flying the plane solo. It's okay, I'm licensed. I've done it before. My good friend, News Director Steve Hare, taking yet another day off. He'll be back tomorrow. Kat is back in control. She had a three-day weekend, a well-deserved three-day weekend. It's that time of the year. A lot of people start taking time off when the weather is good and the kids are out of school. It's vacation time. We got a busy show for you today. If you were following us on our Facebook this morning, we got right out of the box right when we got here this morning to get ready for this program. They toned out a fire on the south shore of Lake Chelan, just about a miles north of the Fields Point Landing area, and we have footage from that fire from about 5:45. So the footage you're about ready to see here is a little old. That's what it looked like when they toned out this fire. A number of agencies responded almost immediately, and at one point it looked a little worse than that. But we're going to dissolve to a live shot of what's going on there. As you can see, it looks like they pretty much tackled that baby. You can't quite see the Fields Point Landing. That would be to the left of what you see there. As you can see, it's also a little windy up at Lake Chelan this morning, but it looks like they wouldn't just tackle that sucker before it had a chance to really take off. Again, this was about a mile north of the Fields Point Landing. That's a Google Earth image of it. That white spot you see down there is the parking lot for the landing area where the lady of the lake comes in and picks you up or drops you off if you're hiking up to Lucerne or other parts of the upper part of Lake Chelan. That's about where that fire was located. It was burning up some steep rocky terrain with some brush and some trees, but it looks like they jumped all over it. They toned out about 4 or 5 different fire agencies, and looks like they tackled it. So that's good news. We are still deep into the fire season, as you might imagine, and we have 2 things that firefighters don't like. We have a red flag warning and we have a heat advisory. The heat advisory is a continuation of the one that they issued yesterday. That started yesterday afternoon and it remains in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. It's going to be another hot day, and now they've added on top of that a red flag warning. The National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning for the combination of high temperatures, wind, and low relative humidity. And that red flag warning begins for our area at 4 o'clock this afternoon and will go until 10 o'clock on Wednesday. So that's a bigger than normal time frame. Normally they parcel these red flag warnings out in 6 or 7 hour increments, but this is a big one because we have a cold front that's going to come in. It's going to cool us down. It's going to make it much more tolerable if you don't like the heat. But when a cold front visits us this time of the year, it also means winds, and we are going to have some windy conditions, especially Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Your forecast details are coming up. So it's going to be another hot one today. For the record, we had 99 yesterday. The forecast high was 101, and we're going to get just about 99 today. Yesterday at this time, it was 72 degrees outside of our studios, and this morning at this time, it is 72 degrees outside of our studios. So again, heat advisory is still on board. A red flag warning will begin at 4 o'clock this afternoon, go all for the rest of the day, overnight tonight, and pretty much all day on Wednesday. Of course, the National Weather Service can change their mind, and they just might, but right now conditions are looking pretty dicey for any existing fires. And of course, any new fires that start could be a difficult thing as well. I'm also going to have the latest on the Rocky Reach fire. They had a good day yesterday, a very good day. We'll talk about that when we get to the news. Grant Olson, by the way, will have the news. We'll give you the latest update on the Rocky Reach fire. As I mentioned before, it is all pretty much good news. You're going to like what you're going to hear there. Also, my guest, I haven't mentioned this yet. My guest is Michelle Lillane. She is the Managing Director of Science Education for the North Central Educational Services District. They pay a monthly visit to this program, and my conversation with Michelle will come your way in the back half of the hour. We also have sports. Whatever sports there is pretty quiet now this time of year. Baseball, of course, the Wenatchee Apple Sox and the Seattle Mariners are at their All-Star breaks. The All-Star game is tonight. So whatever sports Eric was able to cram in, we'll cram it in. And speaking of Eric, he's got a fascinating story about what it takes to work in this kind of back-breaking heat, the heat that just comes and just whacks you upside the head. And if you're working in any kind of field that is not only hot outside, but you're working in heat, I'm talking about people who pave area roadways. Eric and our top producer, Uriah Darby, went out and did a fascinating little story on that. We'll have that when we get to the news. We also have the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, and everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. Let's take you around North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless. Not quite as hazy today as it was yesterday. This is the time of the day when the relative humidity is at its highest, and this is also the time of the day when the smoke can get trapped farther down into the valley floor. Right now, it's not too bad. Relative humidity, let me take a quick look now, is 43%, and that is pretty high. It's going to get down to about 20% this afternoon. So that is our cross camera, and you can see, if you look right in the middle of your screen and you squint a little bit, you can kind of see the Rocky Reach fire, at least what has been burned, as it's kind of gone up and around the Joaquin Canyon area. So, and again, we do have good news for you folks who have been following the Rocky Reach fire since it broke out on Friday evening. Kat decides where we're going from here, and Kat says, let's take a trip up to, I want to say that's Jump Off Ridge, and that's panned over a little bit to, there it is, we're moving it. There you go. The Stemilt Basin is right below you as the cherry trees are growing away there, and then there is the Wenatchee Valley proper, the East Wenatchee Bench. Again, we can move these cameras. Jump Off Ridge is a spectacular view. Kat's going to move it in a little bit so you can see the entire East Wenatchee Bench and some of the Wenatchee area. Wenatchee Heights is directly in front of you where the cross cam is located. Then down below, the Stemilt Basin and the Three Lakes area and a little slice of Malaga as well. Good morning, Jump Off Ridge. That, because of the elevation of the camera, and it's got so much more information in the frame, that makes it look a little hazier than the cross camera. Camera 3. Let's say good morning to Union Valley, I want to say, with Chelan Butte at the far part of your screen. Spectacular view there. Great shot of Union Valley. You can see just a sliver of Chelan proper on the far left-hand side of your screen. And by golly, we're moving that one. Oh, Kat's full of surprises today. She's feeling good. She's back from vacation. I know she missed us. That's a slow pan from the camera way up top of Union Valley as we head up Lake Chelan, which was a hopping place this weekend and will be the upcoming weekend. That's a good-looking shot from Union Valley. And again, if you can see the tip of Union Valley and you live anywhere where you can see where we're at, you can get Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet without fiber to your home. That's pretty cool. Let's go to our fourth camera on this Tuesday morning, and that is taking us to Lake Wenatchee, our Two Rivers camera. A beautiful area up there. Good place to go if you want to escape the heat. Of course, it's pretty thickly forested. There's some lovely hikes there. You can head up to Hidden Lake. You can head to the Glacier View Campground. You can, if you're a hardy person, you can hike up Dirty Face Mountain, but pack a lunch. That's at the very top of Lake Wenatchee. Of course, Lake Wenatchee is hopping because they have the YMCA camp on one side of the lake on the north shores, the Y Camp, and on the south shores, Camp Zanikalachi, and they get real busy this time of the year. Beautiful. Lake Wenatchee. Thanks for checking in with us. 8 minutes after the hour from the National Weather Service. Let's take a look at your forecast. Excuse me. There you go. Once again, heat advisory is in effect. It has been in effect since yesterday, and it remains in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. Temperatures just about 100 degrees. We had 99 yesterday. That's the forecast high today of 99 degrees. And as I mentioned before, we have a red flag warning. Combination of high temperatures, wind, and low relative humidity. That is your Tuesday highs today. Look at them. That's warm. I mean, Plain, 93 degrees. That's warm for Plain. Of course, if you head out into the basin, Moses Lake, 101 down in the Tri-Cities. They'll be in triple digits, as will Walla Walla. Warmest temperatures of the week, because we're getting some relief coming your way. Excuse me again, got a little bat in my mouth. So that's your Tuesday highs. Now, the Tuesday winds look something like that, and most of this will be this afternoon. As you can see, winds westerly at about 60 miles an hour in the Wenatchee area, a little windier in Ellensburg. It always is, for whatever reason. So we're keeping an eye on the wind. The real wind story is going to be Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. This is when this cold front begins to enter into the area. So Wednesday, it's going to be sunny. It's going to be cooler, high of 92 as that cold front begins to make itself felt. But on Wednesday afternoon, we'll have northwest wind at about 15 miles an hour, and it's going to pick up in intensity Wednesday night. 64 for the overnight low, but it's going to be breezy as the cold front really starts taking effect. We're talking northwest winds about 11 to 20 miles an hour Wednesday night. Gusts near 30 for the Wenatchee Valley, so we're keeping a very close eye on whatever fires may exist. There could even still be some sleepers out there that we don't know about. There is no rain in the forecast. There's no lightning strikes in the forecast. There's no thunder in the forecast. So if we get through Wednesday night into Thursday, we will have dodged a bullet. Again, just to let you know, the red flag warning starts at 4 o'clock this afternoon and goes all the way through 10 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday. That's a long time for a red flag warning. The conditions that need to happen for the National Weather Service to issue one are three things: low relative humidity, high temperatures, and breezy conditions. And that's exactly what we're going to have a little bit Tuesday, but mostly Wednesday, and especially Wednesday night. We're going to calm back down and actually be fairly back to normal by the time we get to the weekend. If you can't stand the real hot stuff, but it's going to be real hot again today. All right, 11 minutes after the hour, going to take a quick break. When we come back, Grant's going to have the news, and I will have the latest on the two fires. The one fire that broke out this morning on the south shore of Lake Chelan that seems to be out now, and also the latest on the Rocky Reach fire. The news is 1 minute away, and it's brought to you by our brand new sponsor. We're so happy to have them on board, Cascade Medical Center. Trained with a physical therapist who loves the outdoors as much as you do, Cascade Medical Center, partners in your health.
The physical therapists at Cascade Medical love the outdoors as much as you do. But sometimes where there's love, there's also pain. Let us help you get back to the activities that you love. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
Join me for Life with Lisa Bradshaw on NCW Life. It's not about my life, it's about yours.
And now it's time.
And we are back at 12 minutes after the hour on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Once again, Steve Hare is on vacation. He'll be back tomorrow. A couple of notes on wildfires. As we mentioned at the very top of the show, when we got into work this morning at about 5:20, they had toned out a fire on the south shore of Lake Chelan about a mile north of the Fields Point landing. And that is what it looked like at about 5:45 this morning, and even before that it looked a little worse than that. That is the fire we're talking about. Again, this is about a mile north of Fields Point Landing, so quite a ways up the south shore of Lake Chelan. The camera view that you see there is our Greens Knob camera, which is actually located on the north shore, so we're shooting all the way across the lake. That's what it looked like at about 5:45 this morning. Right now, it looks fine. We just took a look at it on our PTZ camera. We see no smoke. We see no fire activity whatsoever. So my guess is, and I'm spitballing here, but from what we were being able to see visually, it looks like whoever came out and responded to that fire hopped on it almost immediately, and it looks, for all intents and purposes, that that fire is out. The Rocky Reach fire is not out. They're hoping to fully contain the Rocky Reach fire by Thursday, but the latest information we have from InstaWeb is this. The fire is at 3,386 acres, so it's slightly smaller than yesterday afternoon's update that we got. This is the number that you're going to like. It is now 70% contained. So the perimeter is 70% contained. They have almost got this baby completely surrounded. It's still, of course, the fields are grass, brush, and timber, so you have that combination going underway. So this is all good news. 241 personnel are working on the fire. And again, that 3,386 acres, because now they can get up there and they can map it and they get a much more accurate idea of how big this fire actually is. They've actually downgraded it as far as the fire is actually smaller than they originally anticipated. They're going to continue to work on it today. Again, that magic number is good, 70%. We like that, so they're going to see if they can get that last 30% to get this fire fully contained before the red flag warning kicks in. As far as evacuations, yesterday afternoon they lifted the level 1 evacuation for the Birch Mountain area. Birch Mountain Road is closed where the pavement ends. The level 1 evacuation for Swakane Canyon, however, remains in effect. And once again, if you're traveling on US 97A as you go by Rocky Reach Dam, you are going to be slowed down. It's now a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. And that's good, but they're asking people, please don't stop. Don't pull over to the side of the road. Don't be a looky-loo. Just keep right on moving and get through it. Actually, the best case scenario is avoid the area altogether. Again, 70% containment is the newest number that we have from InsaWeb on the Rocky Reach fire. Today is a big day because, as we mentioned before, the winds are going to pick up. So they're going to do their very best to get that fire completely contained as much as possible, and then work on hot spots on the Rocky Reach fire. It's almost all good news. Quarter after the hour with the rest of this morning's headlines. Here's Grant Olson.
Thanks, Dan, and good Tuesday morning. An 849-acre fire that broke out Saturday night in Grant County is nearing full containment. The mile marker 81 fire ignited on Highway 17 near Lake Lenoir and Soap Lake. About a 3-mile stretch of Highway 17 was closed Saturday night. The grassland blaze was reported about 5:30 p.m. and grew rapidly in wind and dry fuels. The quick-moving wildfire forced Level 3 evacuations Saturday night and into Sunday at the Smokium RV Resort, while Level 2 evacuations were in place for other areas near that fire. Those evacuation notices have been canceled. Soap Lake itself was not at risk. One outbuilding was lost and some power lines were damaged in the fire. Grant County Fire Districts 13 and 7, along with the Ephrata Fire Department, quickly responded to the fire. It's now believed that that fire was started by people illegally shooting guns near Sun Lakes State Park. A 3-vehicle accident Friday night near Royal City sent 2 people to a local hospital, one with serious injuries. The accident occurred when a vehicle driven by an Othello man ran a stop sign, broadsided another car, which lost control and was then struck by a semi-truck pulling double trailers. 2 female passengers in the vehicle that was broadsided and then hit by the truck were injured and taken to Samaritan Hospital in Moses Lake. One was hurt seriously enough to be airlifted to the hospital. Both women are from Gig Harbor. The driver of the vehicle that ran the stop sign has been charged with failure to yield at an intersection. Well, Pacific Appraisal and Associates recently released their real estate snapshot for the Wenatchee Valley in June. And once again, both the median and average sales price of a home is up over $50,000 compared to June of 2017. The median price last month was $323,900. That compared to $280,500 a year ago. The average sales price of a home in the Wenatchee market in June was just over $351,000. That compared to just under $300,000 in June of 2017. The second quarter of 2018 ended with 515 sales year to date. That's an increase of 14% compared to last year. The Wenatchee real estate market consists of Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Malaga, Orondo, and Rock Island. Well, Wenatchee Valley College is welcoming a new athletic director after Greg Franz is retiring after 20 years with the college. Kyle Verk will replace Franz with more than 10 years of experience in college athletics, most recently as the student athlete careers program director at the University of Notre Dame in Indiana. Originally from Pasco, Verk served as athletic director, head men's soccer coach, and assistant director for student success and engagement at Columbia Basin College in Pasco from 2008 to 2016. With temperatures climbing in the triple digits this week for the first time this summer, we wondered how those that have to work out in the heat deal with it. NCW Life's Eric Granstrom hit the road to find out.
We're out here trying to find out how the road crews beat the heat. We're with the Chelan County road crew who is up here on Mission Ridge Road doing some chip seal work today with the temperatures reaching over 100 here in the air and up to 120 on the ground.
We actually got our chip seal program going. This will be the first day on Mission Ridge Road to apply our BST rock with our emulsion oil that we're putting down for a new chip seal. Typically on our road temps, when it is this hot, we'll shut down the chip seal program when the road hits about 135 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. As far as the crews in general, we just really talk to them about safety, watching out for one another, stay hydrated, stay in the shade when possible, wear your hats, cool cloths, and typically our hours are from 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
All right, guys, we're here to find out how you're beating the heat when it's 100 plus degrees outside and you're working probably one of the worst jobs doing asphalt. How do you do it?
Stay hydrated and lots of sunscreen.
Lots of sunscreen. Okay, that's the first time we've heard that. How about you?
We do our best to try to find shade, but sometimes that's not always applicable. So yeah, like Troy said, lots of water.
So tell me how you try to beat the heat when it's like this.
I just try to drink a lot of water, always stay moving.
Lots of water. Yeah, I try to stay in the shade as much as I can, and if I keep moving, it's always a better thing too.
I probably go through 10 to 14 bottles of water a day.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So.
And do you freeze it, or do you?
I drink it warm.
You drink it warm.
Yep.
You think that helps you on a
Definitely, definitely.
Now we've got some do-gooders out there. They're going to watch this and they're going to say, "I'm going to bring those guys some water or something." Do you have that happen?
Yeah, we have had. The one that honestly I appreciate it, but I don't care for is ice cream. People bring us ice creams, and it's just the sugar and everything else. It's just like, no, thank you. I'll stick with water.
Glad you have a hard time eating it fast enough before it all melts.
Well, they're out here working on your behalf, trying to beat the heat. It's the Chelan County Road Crew up here on Mission Ridge Road. Eric Grandstrom with the NCW Life Channel.
We also posed the question on our Facebook page. How do you beat the heat? We'll report on the suggestions you have coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News. And that's a look at your morning news update. Please join me tonight at 5, 6, and 10 for the NCW Life Evening News. Until then, have a great day.
Thank you, Grant. I know how I beat the heat. Air conditioning. I installed it yesterday. Well, I had some help. So now my home has air conditioning, and I am one happy camper. As Grant mentioned before, he handles news duties. He's in the anchor chair at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. The news with Grant Olson is available right here on this very television station. If you prefer to consume your news via the World Wide Web, which, by the way, is catching on, mark my words, this internet thing is going to be big. You can watch it on our website. You can also watch it on our live stream. Whatever we're showing right now over the broadcast television, we live stream it at the same time on our website at ncwlife.com, or you can watch it on demand when you need to. We have our news up and running, posted on our website and on our Facebook page, 5:30-ish. Give or take a couple, it's not an exact time, but it'll show up. You can't miss it. You can check it out that way. And you can also give us a hand if you're out and about and you see something that might be newsworthy or maybe a story that deserves our attention. Get a hold of us. There are a myriad of ways to do that. You can even write us a letter. But it'd take a couple of days to get here. Your best bet is just to do what you see at the bottom of the screen. You can pick up the telephone and give us a call. You can go to our Facebook page and message us where everybody gets it here. You can write us an email, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com, and just like our Facebook page, everybody gets that too. Or you can go to our website, ncwlife.com. You're going to like it there, ncwlife.com. There's lots of things to look at, lots of pointing and clicking going on there, but in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see the Contact Us icon. Click on that, and it's down the road you go. 72 degrees, lots of sunshine today, high of 99. The heat advisory continues for the rest of the day today. Cold front comes in tonight. Tomorrow's high, only 92, and then we'll be back down to normal temperatures by the end of the week, but we have a red flag warning that starts later on this afternoon because alongside the cooler and more moderate temperatures comes windy conditions. We'll keep a close eye on that. We're going to take a break. Whatever sports we can cram in, who's kidding who, there ain't a lot, but what we got will come your way in a minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 10 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Shaman here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Let us make your dream of home ownership a reality. We're here to guide you through the loan process every step of the way. Check out our convenient online application. Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, your home for loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
Did you know that our pets can put on extra weight just like us? Obesity is the most common preventable disease in dogs and cats. Your pet's excess weight can lead to health issues like joint pain, arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure, and more. Dr. Shauna Bayes and the staff at Paws and Claws Veterinarian Hospital care about your pets, and they can help you keep them lean and healthy. Call Paws and Claws today at 888-PAWS or find them on the corner 4th and Isle in East Wenatchee.
And welcome back. Just about 25 minutes after the hour on this Tuesday, the 17th day of July 2018. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Sports. This is a unique idea. Kudos to the West Coast League for coming up with this little home run derby idea. Very different flair to it in Port Angeles last night. They had 11 participants, one hitter from each team in the West Coast League, both the North and the South Division, who was selected to the All-Star game. They were shuttled by boat to a barge anchored off Hollywood Beach on the Port Angeles waterfront. The goal was to hit baseballs over the fence. Now, the fence was a cork lined, stretched out into the water. They called it the saltwater splashdown. I like this. The Apple Sox representative was Jeremy Yellen. The video that you're going to see is courtesy of the Lefties Facebook page, the Port Angeles Lefties, and the call is by Port Angeles play-by-play announcer Brandon Erickson. Check this out.
Next pitch to left center field, and this one will be way out of here. Opposite field power for Jeremy Yellen, who now has 2 home runs here in this competition. Next pitch to straight center field. Will this have enough? And it will. So he's got 3. He needs 2 more to pass Trent Tingelstad, and this will look like it'll tie it up as the kayakers scramble to get it. So Jeremy Yellen is tied with Trent Tingelstad at 4 home runs.
The home run derby would come down to a tiebreaker between the lefties Ron Brown and Cody Hawken, who's a member of the Corvallis Knights, and it would be the hometown representative that would win it.
1 more to tie. Ron Brown has tied this. Ron Brown with 1 more swing. If Ron Brown hits a home run, he will be crowned the 2018 WCL Home Run Derby champion. He's got 1 more swing. Here it comes, and he's got it! Ron Brown is your 2018 WCL Home Run Derby champion. Putting on a show for the home crowd. Ron Brown hitting a total of 36 home runs in this competition.
It's a lot of wet baseballs, isn't it? The West Coast League All-Star Game is tonight. First pitch scheduled at 6:35. Wenatchee's Corey Bafis is going to be the starting pitcher for the North Division. Also representing the Apple Sox, Corey Meyer and Mason Marenko. You can watch the game on the Port Angeles Lefties Facebook page. There are over 700 high school football players in town from 14 teams. They're all in town in Wenatchee this week. It's the Wenatchee football camp. They're going through drills, calisthenics, competitions, general football foolishness and tomfoolery. That's being held at Wenatchee High School, Triangle Park, and Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. Eric's going to go there with his camera. He's going to get some sights and sounds later on today, and we'll have that on the NBC, on the NCAA Life Evening News. Eric's going to do that. That would be kind of cool. Of course, the Major League Baseball All-Star Home Run Derby was last night in the nation's capital. Fittingly, the hometown hero, Washington Nationals' Bryce Harper, won the event with a final round, final blow to edge Chicago's Kyle Schwarber. The Midsummer Classic gets underway this afternoon. Television begins at about 4:30 on Fox. Seattle has 4 representatives on the team. Nelson Cruz is there. So is Mitch Haniger, Gene Segura, and the closer Edwin Diaz. Nelson Cruz says the break could not have come at a better time.
Like you mentioned, we have really good core guys that are playing good. You know, not only that, but we are willing to win, and we understand that the fans, the whole organization wants to go to the playoff spot and understand that what we have in front of us. You know, it's not going to be easy. I think we definitely need the All-Star break. We've been playing the last few games, and it cannot come at a better time.
Mitch Haniger said when he found out that he was an All-Star, he had mixed emotions.
When our manager announced the names, I was the last name to get announced, and I was happy but sad at the same time because I felt like Gene was just as deserving as I am, as well as one of our starting pitchers, James Paxton, has had an unbelievable first half and threw a no-hitter, and so it was happy and sad at the same time, and fortunately we were able to get Gene in. We're all really excited for Gene, so deserving, and he's been one of our best players all year. I feel like the clubhouse is still really loose, and these guys it's like a brotherhood in our clubhouse, and everybody's really close with each other. So that's what you need on championship teams, and I think this is the year we're gonna get to the playoffs and do some work in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'll be glued to my television. The 89th Midsummer Classic, the All-Star Game at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., televised nationally by Fox Sports. A couple of quick little notes about the All-Star Game. This is the 89th, so they've played 88 of these. Are you ready for this? The American League has won 43 All-Star Games. The National League has won 43 All-Star Games. There have been 2 ties. Not surprisingly, something's got to give tonight, but this is even more remarkable. In the history of the All-Star Game, in the 88 previous editions, the National League has scored 361 runs. The American League has scored 361 runs. Now that is pretty cool. It's 30 minutes after the hour. It's also World Emoji Day. Yes, that's our obscure holiday of the day today. My phone wouldn't let me forget about it as soon as I got up this morning. It was Happy World Emoji Day. Emojis have gotten hugely popular since they were invented in the late 1990s by Shigetaka Kurita. He was working on a mobile internet platform in Japan. He noticed that weather forecasts like to use cute little icons. He said, can't we do that to express emotions and symbols? So he created about 175 emojis. And now, of course, they started out popularity in Asia, and now they're hugely popular in the United States. Didn't really pick up steam until Apple released the iPhone 6, and then it just took off because it's right on your keyboard. The most popular emoji, you want to take a quick guess before I tell you? Tears of joy is the most popular emoji. By the way, in 2013, 5 years ago, the Oxford Dictionary added the word emoji. Why is today World Emoji Day? Why is it always celebrated on July 17th? We don't know. 31 minutes after the hour. Today in history, 77 years ago today, packed house at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium. Joe DiMaggio going for his 57th game in a row with getting at least 1 base hit. Unfortunately, third baseman Ken Keltner of the Indians had something to do with that. Al Smith pitching and Jim Bagby pitching for the Indians. Yep, Joe went 0 for 4, and his consecutive hitting streak ended at 56. Yankees won 6-5 on their way to yet another World Championship, but considered one of baseball's most unbreakable records. The remarkable 56-game hitting streak of Joe DiMaggio came to an end on this date 77 years ago today. Nobody has come within 12 of that remarkable record. And then the next day, he started a 17-game hitting streak. July the 17th, 1941, it came to an end. July the 17th, 1945, 73 years ago today. Hey, we won the war. Now what are we going to do about Germany? Joe Stalin, Harry Truman, and Winston Churchill, as you see left to right, got together in Potsdam in Germany to decide the fate of the defeated Nazis. They hung around for about 3 weeks. In the meantime, Harry Truman said, by the way, we need to drop the bomb, and they did so. Winston Churchill had to leave about halfway through the Potsdam's conference because he lost his re-election bid. In fact, he brought his opponent with him on the off chance that he didn't win election. He would go back to London and his opponent would just pick up negotiations. That's exactly what happened. The Potsdam Conference, division of Germany, they got going on this date 73 years ago today. Happy birthday to the happiest place on earth. Disneyland is 63 years old today. Disneyland has the largest cumulative attendance of any theme park in the world since they opened. 708 million guests have walked through the gates of Disneyland. It is the second most popular park visited annually behind, in Florida, Disney World, the Magic Kingdom. So the 2 most popular tourist attractions, theme parks, amusement parks, whatever you want to call it. Number 1 is Disney World. Number 2 is Disneyland, which is 63 years old today, the happiest place on earth, which is a registered trademark of the Disneyland Corporation. Today is the 39th anniversary of the 50th All-Star Game held at the Kingdome in Seattle. The National League beats the American League 7-6 on July 17th, 1979, 39 years ago. It's one of my favorite stories because our family had tickets to the All-Star Game. And almost everybody got to go, except I came from a really big family, and 2 people could not go to the game. Well, my dad decided he would not go, and then one of the kids was not going to be able to go because we didn't have enough tickets, so they put all the kids' names in a hat, and Dad pulled the name out of the hat, and the kid, the Kuntz family member who didn't get to go to the All-Star Game that year, was me. Dad and I went to the cabin up at Lake Wenatchee. It happens. And this is very sobering. I remember this 37 years ago today. At the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown Kansas City, Missouri, 114 people killed and more than 200 were injured when a walkway that went through the lobby of the Hyatt Regency collapsed on top of the walkway below it, which then collapsed on the people down below. The eventual death toll, you see the headline of 111, is eventually 114. It would be the worst structural failure collapse until September 11th, 2001 at the World Trade Center. And finally, at 35 minutes after the hour, we have some birthdays to get to today. The very first millionaire in United States history, John Jacob Astor, born in Germany in 1763, emigrated to this country after the Revolutionary War. He made his original fortune in fur trade. He basically had the monopoly on fur trade. He realized the fur trade was eventually not going to work forever, and so he started buying up as much land in real estate in and around New York City as he possibly could. He became the real estate mogul, and then, like a lot of people who make a lot of money, he started giving it all away towards the end of his life. The first multimillionaire in United States history. When he died in 1848 at the age of 84, he was worth $20 million, which translates to about $125 billion today. John Jacob Astor, the founder of the famous Astor family. Earl Stanley Gardner, the American lawyer who wrote over 80 Perry Mason novels. At the time of his death in 1970, he was the best-selling American writer of the 20th century. The creator of Perry Mason, of course, he was an attorney, and that helped. And if you go online and watch the very last episode of Perry Mason from 1966, it's called The Case of the Final Fade Out. The final episode of Perry Mason, the judge is played by Earl Stanley Gardner, born in the state in 1889. And the most powerful woman in the world, Angela Merkel, the German politician, the Chancellor of Germany. She's now in her 4th term. She's been there longer than anybody. Angela Merkel is 64 years old today. By profession, she's a chemist. Didn't know that. Time magazine calls her the most powerful woman in the world, and she is. She is the de facto leader of the European Union, and she is the leader of the most powerful country in Europe right now, Germany. Angela Merkel is 64 years old today. 37 minutes after they are going to take a break. When we come back, everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. There's a conversation we taped last week with Michelle Lalane from the NCESD, the North Central Educational Services District. We're going to learn about science. It's good for you. All of that coming up right here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been.
It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome. Give it a try.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson, where we've got huge news. We've started our Blueberry U-Pick. It's a great time to toss the family in the car and get on out to Blueberry Hills, where you can get the best down-home scratch country cooking around and pick some of the world's most delicious and largest blueberries that have been high desert farmed. This makes for an intense blueberry flavor, and they are so much fun to pick. Our fields are open 8 to 2:30 daily and restaurant from 8 to 3, so come on out and join us.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your Stoke?
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Oh, hey Nate, what you doing there?
I'm just reading a book.
A book? I didn't even know they made those anymore. Where'd you get it?
Right down the street at Yield Bookshop.
Yield Bookshop? I'm gonna go check it out.
If you're looking for a good book to read or you're in the market for some beautiful handcrafted creations from local artisans, look no further than Ye Olde Bookshop right in the heart of downtown Wenatchee.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, a cool scene in the movie La La Land, you know, that flick that was almost Best Picture a while ago. The two main characters, Mia and Seb, were dancing and singing while they're commenting on what a waste of a nice evening it was, as they weren't, at that point, romantically involved. Now, Rosie and I both looked at each other, and we kind of grinned during that scene, because many years ago, we were on a church trip to Israel. I was going out for a walk, and I ran into Rosie in the lobby of the hotel, and I asked her, hey, she wanted to come on a walk with me. Well, we ended up sitting on a dock looking at a full moon over the Mediterranean Sea, and we joked about how romantic it was, and how it was just too bad that we weren't two different people romantically involved. Well, over 40 years later, I guess we were the right people after all. Yeah, I know, this is schmaltzy, but that's too bad. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
Vamanos junk haulers are pleased to announce they've added moving services to their list of ways to make your life easier. Vamanos Moving Service. No move is too big or small. In fact, Vamanos does it all. Vamanos employees are experienced at moving your home, office, business, and storage. They'll carefully load and unload your belongings. And for the do-it-yourselfers, Vamanos also rents trucks and cargo trailers. Call Vamanos Junk Haulers and Moving Service today to schedule your free estimate.
Boating is a great way to bring family and friends together. At Bob File Boats and Motors, they have the boats for any lifestyle: fishing, wakeboarding, or just relaxing on the water. Buying a new boat is more affordable than you might think at Bob File Boats and Motors. Online at bobfile.com or on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
We're here to celebrate every season with award-winning dining, full-service spa, and 170 waterfront guest rooms. Come experience our tradition of hospitality at Campbell's Resort on Lake Chelan.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
And we are back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and once a month we invite somebody from the North Central Educational Services District to drop by this program and give us the latest what's going on down there. It could be any number of topics, could be any number of people coming down, but they're a great organization. And my guest today, and I want to get your title correct, Michelle, it's a big one, you ready? Managing Director, Science Education, Regional Science Coordinator.
Yes.
That sounds like a pretty big umbrella for you.
It is a big umbrella. All things science.
All
That's
things
what
science? Okay.
it comes down to.
All first-timers, and this is the first time you've been on my show, all first-timers get the same first question. Just a little bit about Michelle Lelaine. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the meat and potatoes.
A little bit about myself. I've been an educator since 2000. I started my teaching career on the McCaw Reservation in Neah Bay and slowly migrated east to the Eastern Washington area and have been here at North Central ESD for 7 years now. I've taught anywhere from first grade, second grade math, all the way up through sixth grade and high school science courses, and even some pre-service courses for Central Washington University.
Well, first of all, good for you for teaching in the far corner of our state, because that's a pretty difficult area to start a career in, isn't it? The Indian Reservation, Neah Bay, that's an economically depressed area, isn't it?
It is. It's a very challenging environment, but it was extremely rewarding, and I would say it laid a great foundation for the work that I've done.
Have you had the education bug from the get-go, or?
Oh yeah. My mom used to run a daycare when I was little, and I would make the other kids in the daycare play school with me so I could be their teacher. So
cool.
It's been a forever thing.
The Managing Director, Science Education Regional Science Coordinator. So science is in there twice.
Yes.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say your expertise is in science?
Yes.
Yay, all right, cool.
I like math too.
Yeah. Well, let's talk, before we get into it, she's brought a lot of good news with her. Science, technology, engineering, and math. We're all familiar with STEM, and of course, a number of areas have also added arts to that for the STEAM acronym. The acronym STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Science is first. Is it just because it spells out easier, or is there more emphasis on science as opposed to math at the other end of that acronym?
I would say that it's really a blending of all of them, and it makes an easy acronym. Calling it METS or
that sounds
something else, or it wouldn't fit out. So
it wouldn't work. Yeah, I work for the METS program. Oh, what position do you play? Yeah,
right.
I understand that completely. So, why the emphasis? And I've asked other people. I asked Dr. Sue Kane. I've asked your boss at the NSCD. Why are they stressing this now? All of us. It's not all of a sudden. It's been going on, but the importance of science, technology, engineering, and math to the next generation of kids and professionals cannot be underestimated, can it?
It comes down to the economics of it all. That's really an emphasis. Students are going to have to know this so much, especially computer science and things like that, in our new economy. And so there's a need for employees and well-trained employees, so that's a big deal.
You brought some really good news, and I like it when people bring good news. Talk about the paperwork I have in front of me.
So the paperwork you have in front of you is what's called a proviso language, and what happened is the Washington State Legislature allocated $4 million in this budget cycle out of the general fund to provide grants to the educational service districts and community-based organizations. So a total of $4 million, $3 million went to the ESDs, of which there are 9. We're one of the 9. And various community-based organizations had a competitive process where they're competing for that other $1 million. So in our agency, we received about $289,000, and the purpose of that grant dollars is to provide teacher professional learning on the Washington State Science Learning Standards, which are the next generation science standards, as well as climate science education.
And like most professions, you name it, you have to do your continuing education to keep yourself licensed to continue to teach kids in the state. So the teachers need to be taught too, don't they?
Absolutely, and that's our primary function in the department that I work at the ESD, is providing teacher professional learning and support.
So if you ever wanted to know who teaches the teachers,
there you go.
There you go. So this is actually really good news. And would you prefer to have more money? I suppose everybody would prefer to have more money.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
But it's always challenging to do the work that we do. Often we're asked to implement things in education without any funding. So this is our chance to actually receive some funding, even though it's for 1 year right now, to provide that professional learning. So far, a lot of teachers have not had the opportunity to learn a lot about the new state science standards, and this will give them that chance.
Who decides what these state science standards are? I suppose there's a bunch of really smart people smarter than me, who get together and make it. Who decides what those standards are?
Those standards are adopted by the OSPI, Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction, and that happened back in 2013. Our state elected to go with the Washington State, or the Next Generation Science Standards, which are national level standards developed by an organization called WUWV. They did the initial work. Businesses and industry and higher ed partners came together and said, what should our science standards be? What would be acceptable for kids to learn? They came out with them. We were part of one of the review process. So our teachers got input on those standards at the national level as well. Right from our area, our students in our state got to be part of that process. And so when we adopted them, we were very familiar with them.
And the teachers are okay with how much, you said students played an input, and obviously the next generation of employers played a role in that. So this is the skill set that we want our kids to learn, and then the teachers fall somewhere in between as far as the curriculum is concerned?
Yes, so what they'll do is they'll learn the standards and then start implementing that through their instruction, however they decide to do that.
Is the fact that this money is only for 1 year hamstring you just a little bit? Hey, here's your 200 some odd thousand, and then the next year they say, whoops, sorry, we're taking no more dough. Is that?
Yes, but that's the nature of the work. Okay. So I always go with the idea that we're going to keep moving things forward, and I'm going to find the money any way I can. It usually happens. I'm able to secure other grants, other funding sources. I use the dollars that I am allocated as a regional science coordinator to do whatever I can. Just constantly trying to pull from resources and finding collaborative partnerships. That's how we roll.
That sounds like challenging work.
It is. It's absolutely very challenging.
And of course, one of the myths and misconceptions, here we are, it's summertime and the living is easy and the fish are jumping and the cotton is high. The kids are out of school and the teachers aren't doing much. It's really not true. Most of the teachers, all the teachers that I know, continue to teach, as it were, even in the summer. In the summer months, so they can hit the ground running in August and September. And you guys at the NCESD, you don't stop at all. There is no summer vacation for you guys.
No, there's no summer vacation for us. We're full-time, continue on through. We don't carry the school calendar the same way. Ours is a little bit different. We work with teachers beginning early August. When they start coming back and start thinking about their classrooms, we give them some professional learning and opportunities to learn and prepare for their new students that are coming in. We'll work with them all the way through the end of June. July is a little bit more quiet as far as working directly with teachers, but we're prepping and planning and implementing new grant funding.
Do you have a chance to get into the classroom, out of the office, into the classroom every now and again?
Yes. So one of the other services we provide are direct services like coaching of teachers. So I'll go into a teacher's classroom, model a lesson, work with them on their lesson plans and things like that. Absolutely. Because
it gets you out of the office. That's one thing.
Oh yeah. I don't spend a lot of time in the office.
That's good.
Yeah, we serve 29 school districts in a pretty wide swath of land.
Yeah, the physical footprint, as you mentioned before, there's 9 educational services districts in the state. I believe this one is the biggest geographically, right? Or pretty close to it?
I think 101 is, which is the Spokane region, geographically.
But it's still pretty big.
Yes, yeah, I would say we're the second largest.
You put a lot of miles on your car.
Absolutely.
How many people are on your staff that report directly to you? Are you it?
I'm pretty much it.
Staff of one?
I do oversee our electrical safety and river power program that's coordinated through our PUDs. So I have one staff member that I oversee that way. And then we also have a STEM Materials Center warehouse. If you've ever been in a classroom and seen a science kit, a box of science materials being delivered, that's one of the things that we manage as well for many of our districts.
I've talked to Dr. Sue Kane. I've talked to any number of people who work and have dedicated their professional lives to educating the next generation of kids. We've talked about a teacher shortage. There is a teacher shortage. There continues to be a teacher shortage. In the specific realm of science teachers, I take it there's probably a shortage there too, right?
A significant one. It's one of the, I would say, science, math, and special education are the 3 main deficit areas for teachers.
How do you account for that? Why aren't we cranking out more science and math teachers?
I would say that we don't do a good job marketing that it's a STEM field. If you think about it, this teaching science is a STEM field. You're teaching science. And I would say that when we talk to kids about those glamorous jobs in engineering or other areas of STEM, teaching doesn't often come up. So how are we giving those opportunities for internships for students to say, hey, you know what, I think I might want to be a teacher when I grow up. They don't often see themselves as teachers either.
Is recruiting possible teachers part of your job? Do you go to some of these colleges and as kid, you know, I'm in school and I'm just taking classes because I haven't figured out what to do yet. Is going out and recruiting teachers of the future part of your job, or does somebody else do that?
Someone else does that. It's not directly, but I do go ahead and work with other, when I'm out in schools, that kind of thing, looking for that next person that could be a teacher. So often teachers' assistants, called paraeducators, might be assisting in the classroom, and how can we get them trained up to be a science teacher? So if they're having that initial experience of just working in the schools, can we kind of leave a bug in their ear that maybe this might be a career for you?
Is the shortage of science teachers at a crisis point yet? It's a concern, but is it a really big concern? I mean, you're at the point now we're going to have a problem.
Yeah, we do now. Some of our districts don't have certified science teachers in their classrooms. They have people that are not endorsed in science at all teaching, or just have an emergency teaching certificate because they simply hold a bachelor's degree in an area, but have no formal teacher training.
So all they're doing is basically wading in the shallow end in the pool, and they're not going off and using that analogy to really get into the meat of it. Michelle, this has been a great conversation. We're almost out of time. I'm going to give you the last word. Anything else you want to mention that I forgot to ask you about while I have you here, because I know you're busy? Anything else on your mind?
I would say just that one of our local community organizations, the Cascadia Conservation District, also received a portion of that $1 million to the community-based organizations of $50,000 for the Kids in the Forest program that they're doing. So
Kids in the Forest program.
Yep.
Can you give us a quick thumbnail on that?
It's really about fire science and helping kids understand that cycle of fire and how can we protect our lands and our homes.
Well, unfortunately, this is the right geographical place to learn about that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So, Michelle, thank you for dropping by. I appreciate
my pleasure.
it. Yeah, I know you're a busy woman. Yeah, I'm going to get you back to work.
Indeed.
Yeah, and let's get some science teachers out there, all right? Maybe we planted a seed. I hope so. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break, then we'll be right back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
Dear Mary Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time. Mary Maids.
Looking for a hands-on, high-demand job? Now is the perfect time to get trained for a career in manufacturing. Washington currently has a shortage of skilled tradespeople, and retirements are making room for more. The machining program at Wenatchee Valley College is designed to give students the foundation to excel in this precision industry. Don't wait, there are only 15 spots left. A 2-year degree and a 1-year certificate are available. Learn more at wvc.edu/machining.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
And welcome back. We are live here from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee. Dan Kuntz, your host. We'll be back up to A full complement of folks here tomorrow. Steve Harrell will be back from his nice little 4-day weekend. Of course, Kat has returned from her little mini vacation for the next 3 days. The whole family will be together again. And then I'm on vacation next week. Sometimes this stuff happens. Here's your weather forecast. Another hot one today, 99. Our forecast high, which is exactly what we hit on Monday. We do have some relief in sight. However, two things I want to point out, and this is big stuff. The heat advisory does remain in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. Those are your high temperatures for today. It's going to be hot wherever you go, especially this afternoon. And beginning this afternoon, at 4 o'clock, a red flag warning because of that. Winds will be picking up. So we'll have a combination of low relative humidity, stronger winds, and hot temperatures. Red flag warning begins at 4, lasts through Wednesday night. Everybody have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.